Next up, at UFC 300, we have Bobby King Green taking on Jim fucking Miller. And I said it like that. I said it like that because that is how Jim Miller has requested to be announced at UFC 300. Bruce Buffer's like,
fuck yourself.
Yeah, Bruce Buffer's like, I'm not doing it. I am not doing it. But he did officially make the request. I want you to call me Jim effing Miller.
It sounds like Anik is going to try and sneak it in to the broadcast.
Probably. He's been like saying it. Actually, he did say it during the UFC Vegas 90 broadcast. Well, good. Jim Miller, I think, is the only unranked fighter on this card. But he is on this card because Jim Miller is the only human being on planet Earth that fought at UFC 100 and won, and fought at UFC 200 and won. And now here he is securing his spot on UFC 300. If you think about the time span between UFC 100 and 200, then 200 and 300, it is absolutely insane that this man is on all three of these cards. But he is. And my camera is moving itself on its own. That's what happens. I went out, I got a fancy camera, and now I have to deal with those consequences. But this should be an interesting fight. This is certainly the only fight on the card that basically has no bearing on the rankings, no bearing on title shots or anything like that, but it should be a fun fight. We got Bobby Green, who's insanely, that guy is just busy. He shows up every single time. 31-15 in his career, 2-2-1 in his last 5. He is coming off of that very late knockout loss to Jalen Turner. When I say very late, I mean he was knocked out and then continued to get mauled while that referee took his sweet time stopping that fight. He's taking on Jim Miller, as I mentioned, 37-17 overall, 4-1 in his last 5, riding a career resurgence. 4-1 in his last 5. This guy is 40 years old. This is not the first time they were supposed to fight. I believe this is the 4th time that this fight has been booked over the last 15 years or so. Bobby Green, he's got that Roy Jones Jr. style boxing. His hands are low. He likes to pop in and out. He likes to shoot that jab up, and he likes to say super busy, hide behind the jab if he can. Good
Philly show.
Good footwork, good body work. He does avoid getting hit, but later in his career, he has been knocked out 2 times in his last couple of losses. He does have some solid wrestling in his back pocket. He hasn't really been wrestling since 2020, but he does have good offensive wrestling, very good defensive wrestling as well. Typically doesn't have big one-punch knockout power, but he did just knock out freaking Grant No Chin Dawson to ruin everybody's night a couple of months ago, taking on Jimmy Mill. And Jimmy Mill is a legend. This guy literally has multiple records in the UFC for longevity, for the most amount of cage time, the most amount of fights, the most amount of wins. He has insane credentials, top to bottom. He's never fought for a title. He's never going to win a title. He's never won a title. But he is a guy that has showed up. Oh, yeah, he's going to win a title at 48. He's a guy that is going to... I am very...
I think Tiffany it's because I haven't. I think it's because I haven't been.
It's all pent up.
Yeah, literally, it's like you're trying to bring. It's like, it's like you love the abuse. You're like just a.
Tiffany. I said this in one of my quick picks a few weeks ago. She is always like, "You are a bully. Like you're a bully," and some of it is on purpose. Like some of it, I know I'm being a bully, and I think some bullying is good. But other times, I just have little outbursts like that where it's like, "Ooh, Jesus." I really was just ready to rip this kid apart for no reason whatsoever.
Just sitting here, just trying to contribute. Not opening cards.
Thank you so much. We all appreciate that. Jim Miller, I mentioned all the longevity, the career highlights, all the wins. He's never made his way like to the tippy top. He probably won't make his way to the tippy top, but he is evolving as a fighter even at 39 years old. This guy started as a grappler. He's a pretty high-level BJJ guy. He's plenty of submissions. Tons of control time. What is this bullshit? Because I'm 40?
Jim Miller's 40.
I've been saying that.
He said 39.
Are you sure he's 40? It says that he just turned 40 like this week because it said 39 on Tapology.
This week in August.
Anyway, he's evolving. Started as a grappler. He is now full-blown, has legitimate striking. He is finishing people on their feet. He found power. He found speed. He is coming off of a win over Gabriel Benitez where arguably Jim Miller looked better at 39 or 37 or whatever the hell it is than he did in his 20s. I don't know why Bobby Green is such a tremendous favorite. I genuinely don't know why. You're going to make that dumbass face, and then we're going to fight. And people are going to say, why are they? They're just going to keep fighting. The show's going to fall. They're going to break up because they fight. And we might, because he does get under my skin. And sometimes I just want to burn this whole thing down.
Don't be so fucking stupid sometimes.
I would love to hear why Bobby Green, in your mind, should be a 2-1 favorite. At 37 years old, coming off of a vicious knockout, 2 knockouts in his last 4 fights. Please, I will pass the baton. And like that girl in that TikTok where she was screaming, give me that fucking baton. You see that TikTok?
I don't waste my time with TikTok. I'm constantly doing UFC research for the people and constantly watching fights, and it kind of shows in this breakdown that you just really didn't work as hard as you could have in researching both of these fights, because Bobby Green is probably 5 times the fighter Jim Miller is, and that's no disrespect to Jim Miller. Bobby Green in his prime was nearly a title contender. That is very, very good. Jim Miller's a gritty guy. He's a tough guy. He's got decent power, decent wrestling, but as a fighter, Bobby Green is a better fighter. He's a much better striker. But Jim Miller is not going to be able to take down Bobby Green. Bobby Green's got a very good wrestling acumen. Didn't I say that before the stream? I didn't know the word. What's the word?
It wasn't acumen. No, you said... I forget what the word was, but it was multiple syllables, and you could not get it out.
Nah, I couldn't get it out, but he's got good wrestling chops, and even offensive wrestling if he wants to use it. Obviously, Bobby Green knows he's not going to use his offensive wrestling. He doesn't want to be boring. But aside from a weird knockout, which could happen, but if you're just bet on a weird knockout, you should bet on every underdog on every single fight, because there's always an opportunity for a knockout. But I mean, this is not Jalen Turner. I mean, this is not even Drew Dober, who ended up catching him. This is Jim Miller. He's going to be a little bit slower. He's going to be a little telegraphed. I mean, he lost to, we just saw Alex Hernandez kind of get smoked again. He lost to, he was losing to Alex Hernandez, just a couple years ago. So I have all the respect in the world for Jim Miller. 2024 started with a Jim Miller lock of the week, and that's what set us on this very successful trend of lock of the week, up units. WeWantPicks.com, $10 a month. But Bobby Green's a better striker, and that's all it should come down to. Obviously, a chin is a chin, a win is a win.
I can't wait to see if you can. You couldn't do it. I was like, is there going to be a third line in that, Ryan?
I actually looked at you, and honestly, the thing I was about to say, and the reason I didn't say anything was I was just going to randomly be like, a boner is a boner. So that's the path I stopped, but you got it out of me anyway. I stopped. I said, UFC 300, we got to keep it professional.
Class it up. Class it up.
Class.
Well, I also pick Bobby Green to win the fight, but the point I was making is he's not the 2-1 favorite. He should not be minus 175. Ultimately, I picked him because just razor thin. He's got good takedown defense, and he's the better striker. That's it. I mean, that's just what it comes down to. But minus 175 is crazy. The guy, somebody commented Bobby Green died in his last fight.
You just said that
the odds are wide.
Takedowns, and no, you said he can defend the takedowns, and he's a better striker. That's a 2-1 favorite if I've ever heard one.
No, it's not. The guy was... He was
Jalen
floating.
Turner.
He was floating. If they had one of those crazy slow motion cameras, his soul was floating out of his body up to the heavens. Music was playing, and then it got sucked back in. They sucked him back into life. Okay,
I respect your point of view.
He barely made it through that fight.
I respect you as an analyst, and we don't need to be yelling.
That's the only way I know how to communicate.
Hey, look at me. Hey, I love you, buddy.
That's the only way I know how to communicate. It's not your fault. That's from Good Will Hunting. It's not your fault. It's not your fault. Just hugging him. It's not your fault. Anyway, back on topic.
Yeah, didn't say back.
That's a little weird. Bobby Green, my pick. Again, insanely slow. 2 fights opening up this card. 2 insanely close fights with some very wide odds, in my opinion. I think both of these fights, one of these underdogs are going to win, and one of these underdogs is going to pay out quite nicely. Are you going to spend $8,600 on Bobby Green?
Nah.
Yeah, because he's not going to finish James. He's not going to finish James. Yeah, just jinxed it. Sorry, James. 76 for Jim Miller, probably not as well, because if his wrestling was a little better and you could rely on him to shoot takedowns, then James Miller would be worth it. But he doesn't shoot, and the takedowns aren't that good when he does. So he is probably going to strike a little too long, probably just be a touch slower, get pieced up a little bit. But Bobby Green was losing, if we back up a couple of fights, Bobby Green was losing to Tony Ferguson. He was getting touched up by Tony. and then he pulled off a submission. So WeWantPicks.com, click become a member. It's $10 for an entire month's worth of access. There are no tiers. There's no weird, the bets are this much, the DFS is this much, but if you combine it, none of that bullshit. It's $10 for a full-blown interactive custom website with every single pick, bet, round line, lean, and tool you could ever want or need. Heading into fight week, WeWantPicks.com, click become a member at the top. Couple of super chatterrootskis. We got Angel trolling me, saying he got his boxes ready. Let's open some packs live. We want picks, couple of goat emojis.
I'll send
best
you a
in the
link,
business.
Angel, so you can join.
We appreciate you, Angel. We appreciate the money, but there will be no more card opening. The public has spoken. Like 4 of you like when Jacob opens the cards. Everybody else absolutely hates it. Joey T has been a member, not a premium member, but he has been a premium member since day one, but this is YouTube membership for 35 months. UFC 300 is finally here. Smash the likes, you flugers. And then $1.99 from Bookie Bully, Jakey, 10-9, Bobby, Moneyline.
Yo, Bookie, did you leave the Discord? I think you left the Discord. We miss you in there already. I appreciate that $1.99. And look, this is what everyone's getting custom shorts. So Bobby said he wants these
What is
shorts. Fucking red bandana shorts.
Oh, that's what they are. It's like a yeah.
Like
That's
the
funny.
Bloods and the Crips, baby.
Yeah.
Some blood shorts. There
I couldn't tell if it was like it looked like cherry tomatoes. That's
He
what
said.
it's
Bryce
hard to
got
tell.
his. Sean got his. I need mine. So funny.
That's what he went with. That's so
King
funny.
is so funny.
Well, he had that viral moment. So here's a quick Bobby Green story. He had that moment where he, like Mackenzie Dern, he was in the broadcast booth doing the weigh-in show. Mackenzie Dern was looking good, getting on the scale, and Bobby Green's like, ooh, damn. And then, did you hear how Mackenzie Dern's husband tried to lure Bobby Green into like a fight? He tried to like surprise him and attack him. Really? That you can read the whole story online, but basically Mackenzie Dern's husband, after watching Bobby Green go, damn. No, aren't they married?
She's
I think they're married.
I think she's with somebody else, but she's got.
Oh, I thought she. All right, fine. Yeah, you're right. It's the new person. He, who's also her coach. Funny how that always happens. He was texting Bobby Green and was like, "Meet me here, like being all weird about it." And then Bobby Green's like, "Nah." He was texting Bobby saying, "Okay, let me back up. Now I remember." Bobby Green had Mackenzie Dern's phone number.
UFC 300
Shut up. Bobby Green had Mackenzie Dern's phone number. Then Mackenzie Dern's boyfriend is messaging him, pretending to be her. Hey, Bobby, this is Mackenzie. Use this number instead. Meet me here. You want to meet up? And was being like aggressive, like, let's meet up right now. And he's like, no, I'm doing shit. Like, I'll meet up later. No, it has to be right now over here.
You'll get your turn.
And then
I could see Bobby being like, take it easy, Mackenzie. I can try to work you in. I fucking love Bobby, dude.
Well, and then I forget how he found out. He found out it was his phone number. So he was like, this dude was like trying to jump me. It's actually kind of a wild story.
It is kind of a wild story.
Yeah, see, I got there. It took me a minute. I got there. A couple more super chats. $4.99 from Dr. Y. What about a silent Minty in the corner opening packs? Just a foot cam on Minty while she opens cards.
Just a what did you say?
They have requested a foot cam in the past as well. If you want to run that by her. And the Minty he's talking about is Minty Bets from ESPN.
Minty
from
Bets!
The broadcast. She also is part of this channel, and every single Friday, Minty puts out a weigh-in recap video. You don't need to watch 2 hours worth of weigh-ins. Minty will. And for We Want Picks, she will recap the weigh-ins, let you know who made weight, who missed weight, who looked good, who looked like shit, and give you all of those bullet points. So that's who he is talking about. We also got a $4.99 from New York Rental. You guys have to pick. Would you smash Josiah Nunes or Verna Jandaroba and why? Oh, I'd go Nunes because I think she's a little top-heavy, isn't she? Right? She'll fill out a bra. No? Fat tees? Yeah?
You doing okay, man?
Nunes it is. You don't even need to. It wasn't even a hard choice.
I can get. I mean, I'm not
Yeah.
I can get them both. I get them both.
And Dennis K. Jacob, let's get the money this week. Thank you.
Dennis K. That's my guy.
Denise. All right, let's move on. Before you go, let me give you $50. Anybody who goes to wewantpicks.com/bets and signs up with any one of our affiliate partners gets $50 as a thank you. Use the link, sign up, make a deposit. We send you $50 as a thank you.